this is fun. Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We got something fun today. We got a new library. Let's go over here. Let's add something else to it. Oh my gosh. Let's get this back up. Down our reverbs, bring down delays. So fun. Oh, let's get the other camera up. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hello. So this is a new library. This is Titan 303, and it is a library with a whole bunch of acid bass instruments, pretty deeply sampled as far as I wanted to do something kind of cool. UNIFY has the ability to switch layers, and so I have, let's see, let's get this so it's not quite so close to the keyboard, maybe over here. So there's all these basses. Let me do this. I'm gonna get this over farther away from the keyboard, a little closer to me so I can turn it down a little bit maybe. So this is there's Atlas again. There's all these, as you can see, I gotta have fun with this, right? So, I mean, if you're sampling 1,100 samples of different synth basses, you need to have some fun. So, I used AI artwork to give these basses names of Greek gods, and then put these different gods into unique environments for where they would be doing their DJ sets. So there are 5 different sample maps for each one of these. There's 17 bass patches in the core library, and each one has 13 samples. So that's a lot of samples to sample, and it's a lot of samples to thankfully, we didn't have to loop them because these types of samples, they just fade out. So I didn't want to loop it because it kind of loses its authenticity if you loop it. So we have modulation by mod wheel. I also have them set up by velocity switching, so you can go over here. Let's call up Aphrodite. This is really cool. TB5. Oh, TB5 actually is just a single bass. I didn't do multis of these because it's just the raw waveforms. I wanted to have the raw waveforms from them. So by velocity. And I needed to make it a single guru sampler so that I could have mono legato with glide working on all of the samples. If I could also have set this up with 5 layers like the modulation wheel versions. And what happens is if you play by velocity and you use the velocity window parameters here, which would do the same thing, but when you play one and then you play another velocity and then you do glide, it's going to be to different layers and it gets more messy. So I needed to make it. No, yeah, there's no fretless. This is just a. Now, so there's mod wheel, there's velocity, and then I put all of the basses as separates. So that. So there's, I think, 80 some different maps. Hey, Ken, everybody, welcome. And each one of these, as you can see, is 13 samples up the keyboard. So you got the vibe all the way up and down the keyboard. On top of this, when it gets really fun and where UNIFY excels and manipulating these layers and doing things. So down below here, there's a whole bunch of BPM bass patches, and I'll show you how, I mean, I've been working hard on this. I want to make more patches. There might be a bonus for this coming out, you got from basic to more complex. And then you get even more complex when you start getting into the things that are using Morse code. Mod wheel means you use mod wheel. And you notice that just the 4th layer, I have it processed with a little bit of delay and reverb. Because since it's separate layers for each one of the elements of this bass, you can do really crazy things. You could open up each one of these layers and put them into completely different basses. Here's, as you can see, the list of all of the different sample maps. Each of these maps has 13 samples in it. And we got to do a shout out right now to Taylor. Taylor Harris totally came through like a rock star in helping get this library put together. I would do the sampling and then he would do the chopping. And we sampled 2 different instruments. Let's see if I can get these guys over here. I have them over here to get them up and running, I believe, so I can. Let's see if I get it. Oh wait, it's playing MIDI, I believe. It's controlling stuff. Yeah. Why don't I have audio going over here yet? Oh, I have mute on. That's why. That should. And let's turn this down so you don't hear it. Level. All right, you should be playing. Why aren't you playing? Oh, that's the demo. Audio here. There it is. So I sampled this dude. Oh, I got a cable issue. This is a TD3 from Behringer. And I'm not a huge Behringer fan, so just so you know, I bought this used. No money from me went to support the Behringer universe. I also sampled this guy. This is the Donner B1, I believe it's called. Yeah, the B1 analog bass. I wanted to, the goal of this was, it's called Titans. It's not called TB303 because I'm making basses inspired by that genre, but I process these pretty heavily. If you listen to this, and then you hear something like, let's go down here to like, I think Apollo. They've been processed pretty hard. I want to like make new things that are new sounds, you know. So we'll get to all this stuff. There's also a drum library in this. I made a 61 sample drum groove called Titan for the drum kit. Right? So you have that, and then you have all these different, if you go to the BPM drums, there's just drum grooves, which if you take this, and say UNIFY layer, and go up to the BPM basses, and if you open the UNIFY layer, there's tons of knobs assigned. So you can get your groove on in all sorts of really fun ways with this library. It's available at my website. There's a link in the video description. I have it right here. So let's get over here. Boom, boom. Just released for 303 Day, which is tomorrow. For 3 days, today, Sunday, and Monday, just to give you an extra window of time. So it's not just a 24-hour. I don't like 24-hour sales because it's like somebody's at work and they miss it, you know, type of thing. So for 3 days, $23.03 is your price for this library. It's a $52 library. So there's a ton of stuff in it. After Monday, it's going to be $30.30 so that we celebrate and we support the 3030. But if you want it at this great price, you got 3 days to get it at this great, crazy price. I don't know why I give you guys these discounts. I guess it's because I love you all so much. So here's your chance to get some cool basses. And again, these basses are great for all sorts of genres. It's not just for acid. Don't have to be doing 80s acid grooves. On top of that, at the end of the list, I actually have some patches that I made that are really, really nice using these basses. There's funky. Living synth piano. Some cool leads and stuff like that, of course. So it's not just bass. These sounds can go other places. And then thick. These are just the two. This is actually the TB5, that saw and square. So you got those to play with. Yeah, 303 works for all sorts of tempos, actually. It's not just for the speed type of applications. If you come up here to the patches, there's these slow cycles are really cool. This is where CC Writer comes into play. And I want to show you a trick in a minute about how to set up your own of these. But check this out. It's cycling through the layers. And if you go over here and you open up CC Writer, you can edit this shape to be anything you want. Whatever you do, can make it faster if you want. Now it's hitting more at the end. So you can do all sorts of crazy things with these. Now, there's far more MIDI files than I've made into BPM bass patches. So you can open up MIDI box, click right here in the text, and here's all these bass, just crazy. Let's call up Feel Love. Now, if you want, you can go to the second page and there's distortion. And this is using noise box, which means we have a high pass filter before the distortion. And a low pass filter after the distortion. Then over here is Pump House, which sets up the space you need to add a kick. So we can go over here, we can go UNIFY layer. I made separates of a whole bunch of drums. So you can say hard. Let's have Spritzer for a hi-hat, and let's pan these a little bit. So it's really, really fun to play with all the elements. And so, as I mentioned, I named these guys after different Greek gods, right? Like Zeus. There's Atlas. Let me show you the artwork because these were really fun to come up with. Had some fun typing in special text into Midjourney so that would like put Apollo in a cool scene in a futuristic club. Here's Poseidon. I showed that a minute ago with the water. It's really cool. Eos is another goddess that I thought was pretty cool. And so she's in the clouds doing her thing. Nyx, I love this one. Check this out. Isn't that beautiful? I like the technique on the right hand. She's going like this. She just set off another track, I guess, you know. And then Athena, the goddess of love. So, of course, she's got, oh, wait, that's Athena here. And then Aphrodite. Athena should have been love. Where did I put Aphrodite? Here we go. Aphrodite's here. Yeah, there we go. She's on the TBM bite. So, fun stuff, you know. Anyway, there's 185 patches in the library. It goes all over the place. It's really fun to start with any of these BPM basses like I showed you. You could choose Square Rider. Then open up MIDI box and just hit the plus and minus audition buttons here. And you're just cycling through the MIDI files. So now some are not tuned right because they're tuned to the key that I jammed in. It was late at night and I forgot to transpose them. So what you do if that's the case, go over here and say empty layer. Let's see, I'm going to turn that down just a little bit so it's not quite so loud. And then play a note. And a new empty layer gives you a sine wave so you can reference this. Open up MIDI box. So it's plus. So I found the tuning with the offset. So now I can lose this part. And I could go over here, I could go UNIFY layer. Let's add Tetris. Isn't that fun? And then we can go over here. You You say duplicate all links to all layers, so that way they are all connected with layers. So pump house works for all of them. I have mid MDA bass here, so if you want to have it focus more low end or take it away, just depends on what era of 303 you want. And then go over here to kicks. And let's say like nice 909 hat. Let's get the noise burst. Yes, and on the third page, you have portamento rate, which is important because when it's sliding between notes, you can change the rate. From super fast to slow. Right, so fun stuff. So if you want a new library of inspiring patches, I suggest come to the website and enjoy the library. And so this is the last library made in this room. I'll be slowly disassembling everything to start the move after this library is out and after this weekend probably. So it's the last to come from this Portland room. So we'll say thank you to this room. It was a great room to work in. Made some really fun libraries in here, and I can't wait for the adventures that are around the corner. And how do I get the MIDI files into UNIFY? So there's a couple ways to get a MIDI file into UNIFY. You can open up here, and let me see here. If I find some MIDI files somewhere, if I go find, find any file. This is my favorite application on the Mac because Spotlight sucks. So I use find any file, and you can determine which hard drive you want it to look on. I want to look on this for .mid. Let's put this over here for it to search. So it's finding all these different MIDI files, right? So I've got, geez, so many of them. So I could say Cymatic. I get all the free Cymatic stuff. I think you can drag right here and let go, and it will load. So just drag and drop. So just drag and drop works for dragging over MIDI files. Be aware that when you save a patch, it saves an absolute location for that MIDI file, which means if you delete or move that MIDI file in the future and come back to call up the UNIFY patch, if you've moved it, it'll break the link. It's not loading the MIDI file into MIDI box. It's referencing it on your hard drive. So just be aware of that. Yes, I used Logic to make MIDI files and then export them. Also, let me show something else that's kind of cool. If we go up here to these patches that have, let's see, I need to say just normal. A lot of the MIDI files, let's see, how's the easiest way to show you this? A lot of the MIDI files, if you turn on MIDI box up here, it's connected to these layers, so you can just... So any of these that say MW at the beginning, the very first patches, these all have the mod wheel assigned and a MIDI file set up so that you just... And it might be fun, for example, like I want this in the filter to listen. I could go over here to reassign this knob to CC1, and now there's one way to do it. The other way, if you want to keep this at CC2, is simply right-click on the knob Oh, this gets complex because there's so many layers. Okay, maybe we won't do this. I was going to say you could copy paste, but that's a lot of files to copy and paste. Don't do that. Don't do that. But let's look at another way to do this. Say that you like... let's open up MIDI box. Let me show you where these that I'm talking about. These Titan 303, these are new MIDI files that I created for this library. So, right? Now, your libraries are all encrypted, so you can't go over here and save it per se, but you can go like give it a different name, like say Bill, right? And then you should be able to go save as and save it as a new file. That way you can right click and say load Bill as a new layer. And then there's two ways to do this. Click the little bullet and under operations, you can say plugin, copy plugin state. We have a shortcut of Control and Shift and click, right? That has copied this UNIFY layer. So what that means is this MIDI file and this setup is all now saved into a single UNIFY file. So if I come down here to some of these BPM bass patches, like the cycle ones are a good one to use because they're set up already for... Well, we don't want to use that. Let's see. I want to use one that's actually a different one. Let's see. I want to find the right one to suggest for you guys to use because... Well, you can call up one of these and then do this. Bypass CC Writer because we don't need CC Writer to start for what I'm going to show you. And then all you do is you hold down Shift and click on this UNIFY layer and that will replace this, which is what's the save Tai Chi takedown. Hold down Shift and click on here. And now I've replaced that UNIFY with, right? Now double click, hold down Control and Shift again to copy the MIDI box and then hold down Option and click here to delete MIDI box. And then go up here and hold down Shift and replace this MIDI box with the MIDI file that was saved with the patch. And now we have the MIDI file from that patch on top of the MIDI UNIFY layer. So now if you open up this UNIFY layer, we've got knobs. This one that says layer select. If you click here and go to the MIDI assign and set to CC30, inside of these MIDI files, I saved CC30 for knob layer selection. So the sequence can do it by itself based on what I did in the sequence. Or you can say, no, instead of that, I'm going to change it to CC20, right? So now it's listening to the CC number that CC Writer is sending. So if we turn on CC Writer, this is now changing the layers. So I could open this up. I could change this into anything I wanted. Go and get some delays. And then build your track from there. So there's a couple ways to get the motion of the layer select. Go back. This video is saved, so you can go back and watch this again if you need to see those steps again. Let me do it one more time just so you see the process. So you find one of these patches that you dig. Let's use Athena. She's got cool. Just turn on MIDI box. She's doing kind of cool freak out groove, right? We're gonna bring delay up. Little reverb. Maybe a little distortion. Let's customize it. Little pump house. Okay, so I've set this all up. I can go save, change the name again to Bill. My name is Bill. How you doing? Nice to meet you. And go save as and save. So now I have a variation of this with Bill at the end of the name. I can right click and say load this into a new UNIFY layer. And what this does is this encapsulates this whole setup down to a single UNIFY plugin. See how this has all that stuff? This is Bill. So all I have to do, I'll do it the old school way of going down here to Operations, Copy Plugin State. That copies this UNIFY setting. So now I can go to any other one of these cool BPM bass patches. And if it has a UNIFY layer, then all I have to do is, let's bypass MIDI box here and go over here and say Operations, Paste Plugin State. So first before, that was Tai Chi Takedown, but when I say Paste Plugin State, now it's not playing, it's playing Athena. Now, I need to get this MIDI file up above it so that it can control all of the knob changing and stuff. If it's here in this UNIFY layer, I can't change these knobs. We're not able to talk to the same layer. We have to be above it. That's why we use this, where we go over here, we say Operations, Copy Plugin State, hold down Options, or you can click here and say Delete. Because now that I have that MIDI file in my buffer, I can go up here to this one and I can just go over here and say Operations, Paste Plugin State. And now I have, this is playing the MIDI file that was inside of here, but since it's up above, now I have the ability to either look at the MIDI file. This is not one that's got CC in it. Only the ones that are, if you go down here to the Titan ones, have the MIDI CC. Let's call up one of those. Okay. So if it's a Titan sequence, then I know I can turn off CC Writer, open up UNIFY, and there is a knob called Layer Select on layer 1, number 1. And if you go Assign to MIDI CC 30, now it's dancing. And CC 30 is correlating to the data in the MIDI file. And you can do these yourself. Just choose the MIDI CC, use your mod wheel when you first do the sequence in your sequencer, and then open up an editor and reassign that to a different CC number so it's not CC1. And that way you can assign it freely to things that you want to have modulated and things that you don't want to have modulated. Like, for example, if I wanted to, I could also have this set to the reverb. So if I went over here and I said, assign this to 30, now my reverb is going to freak out and do the same thing as this knob. And because this is an embedded UNIFY layer, if I save this, it saves all these CC assignments inside the embedded UNIFY layers. So you'll be able to call this back up anytime, and off it goes, right? So let me show you a couple of demo songs really quick. I did a demo last night at 3 in the morning. So here it is. So you get the idea. Some really, really fun stuff. Bob Dedis is working on a really cool little demo. Let's see here. Check this out. Let me see if you hear this. Check this out. It's so cool.
Warning. Prolonged use of cybernetic enhancements may erode human consciousness, surrendering control to artificial intelligence systems.
A little more mid-tempo. So it goes all sorts of places. You know, bass is just, you know, and the bass is sound. I really am happy with the low end. The processing that I did to it really was to focus the low end to be sharp. So there, cool library, cool price for 3 days. Cool price after that because of the amount of work that went into this. I should show you this. I was going to show you on this page. So if you get yourself a Behringer TD3, just be aware it has serious tuning problems, unbelievable tuning problems as far as to, let me see if I can find, where is it at? I'm going to have to go, oh shoot. But I had to tune them, and then Taylor, God bless his heart, for a day and a half straight, we were sample editing, fixing tuning on 1100 samples. And it was, he's one of these guys that just loves to work on the dirty stuff, the down there sample editing bass level things. And so I have to find this. I have to show you this because this is just a tour de force of work on his part. I so appreciate him being both an assistant with all the email that he answers for you guys, and he's always just like super helpful with all this stuff and supportive. I mean, just he's been part of the family for a very long time, and so it's over here on this. Check this out if I can find where is. Oh, come on, find it. Nothing like waiting. Anyway, it's 29 cents off when you get to the top of the keyboard range. Check this out. So, as you start, the samples are fairly in tune, and as you go up, by the time you get to the top of the range, they're off by 29 cents. The Donner did far better. It was off just a little bit as we went up the map, but then I got these files to Taylor, and then Taylor went through and assigned this and fixed this to all of these samples in all of these maps, and realized each one of these, there's 13 samples. So it's huge amount of work. So thank you, Taylor. Appreciate very much you doing this to all these samples and all of the maps so that it's playable and it's in tune, sounds good. Because it didn't come out in tune. And it's one of those things where I didn't realize until like 4 days ago, I think I got a hold of him and said, hey, I'm freaking out. The tuning is horrible. Because I thought it would just be in tune because I tuned the lower range when I was sampling it. But serious drift. They need to improve on that. So be aware of that. If you get yourself a Behringer TD3 for bass, maybe buy this library instead because it's in tune. There you go. So let's see. Taylor will not move. No, Taylor's staying in Portland. I'm moving in the coming month. My house is going to be put up for rent on the 13th of this month. If any of you guys want a 4-bedroom house in Portland, Oregon, send us a note. And then I'm moving closer to my family. I want to spend time with family, and I'm ready for a different chapter to start. I've made libraries on a monthly basis for like 4 years in this house, and it's been fun, but I could just keep repeating this cycle, but I don't want to keep repeating this cycle. I want to do more. So I want to be closer to family. I want to be able to travel. Who knows where this is going to go, but mixing up my life. I want to do a little bit of a mix up and get other stuff happening. So Shane is in Canada. Taylor's in Portland. And I'm going to be in Idaho. And I've worked with Shane for 4 years on UNIFY and met him one time at a NAMM show. So the new internet, the way it works is, oh, thank you, Maelstrom. Yes, the like button. Hit the like button if you like. So, thank you. But that's the plan. So, sample editing is it's a unique thing, and yeah. I hit the like button. Thank you, vendor. Appreciate it. Okay, so there's a lot to show. I appreciate this, and then I can drop bass lines or something. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Or instead of just tracking for the MIDI files, you can just hit the plus button. Some of these I set at halftime, so make sure you put the off you go, right? So all sorts of stuff like that. Let's see, down at the bottom, there's also some BPM grooves. Most of these are just drums and bass together and a lot of these on the first page is a drum mix. So you can bring in different elements. And then if you want to get a little bit more intensity going on, go over to drums. There's these T grooves. Go to UNIFY layer. Let's say like acid techno. To get you that vibe. Live stream with your parents. Maybe. I've done that in the past. I tried to. They live in an area that doesn't have very good internet, so maybe they'll come to Boise sometime for me to interview them. That'd be fun. All right, so there's some other stuff I want to show you. There's some additional plugins that actually work really kind of cool with UNIFY, with this library. That I reached out to the developers and they sent me some NFRs earlier today. So I just got these to check out. Let's see here. We can kill that. We can make sure I'm covering all my notes of everything. Let me see. I showed that. I showed that. I showed that. That. Okay, good. So we say close, delete, quit, text edit. Get this window to not look quite so. I've got Photoshop running at the same time I'm doing this. Let's see. So save. Quit. Let's get a little bit more memory free just in case I need it. Photoshop tends to be a CPU hog. So good night. Goodbye, Photoshop. Thank you. I mean, Photoshop has so many incredible tools now these days. It's incredible. Okay, so some things to show you. There's a new reverb. If you're familiar with, we don't need sample editing. If you're familiar with the Berlin, let's see, what did he name it? Let me get this up so I'm not talking. Sample City is the company. Simplicity. And they make Berlin Studio. Well, they have a new reverb that's really cool called Classic Reverbs, which has pretty much like high-end reverbs captured as, I believe, convolution presets. his technique, the way that he does the convolution and the way his reverb sound is really unique. It's a friend of mine that I've known for a long, long time. But he's got from the Bricasti, the Lexicons, and the TCE System 6000, which is a really, really cool sounding reverb. So let me show you this. Maybe let's do this. Let's call up, let's call maybe on a drum groove to start with, just for fun. Let's say go like new, and go up here to just like push it. And we'll also call it up on some other sounds too, of course. So if we right click here and say Classic Reverbs, takes a second, and as I said, he's got the Bricasti, the Lexicon, the System 6000. You go here to choose your categories, and then at the very top is there's equalization, there's some cool spin and stuff to get some unique motion in the samples, which is really cool. Up to 500 milliseconds of pre-delay. There's no user presets per se, so you just choose the presets from here based on what you choose what you want. If you're looking for halls, spaces, then when you get to spaces, you go to here and you have all these different. So I think we could do this. Let's delete this and let's call up like Keyscape for a second. So we hear on piano. And we're up to date. We need to load up something. Let's say like just the, say classical. Give it a second to load these up. I think I have a MIDI box on. Don't want a drum groove to play. That should have not broke this. Huh. What did I do? Init. Keyscape. Call up the, let's say, classical piano. And let's turn off their reverbs. Let's go over here. Settings, tweak, compress, EQ, main, reverb. Okay, let's call up classic reverbs. Very nice. Really, really nice detail to the reverb. It's not inexpensive, but the sound is a quality, unique sound. It's a $95 introductory price for this. I mean, you're getting like something like $13,000 worth of reverb hardware units in a plugin. So it's pretty cool. So samplecity.com for reverb. Not a scam. You know, there's a lot of reverb out there, but it's not nice to say it's a scam because my friend worked very hard on this library and this reverb settings and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't put it into that type of category. Other things to show you today from our plugin boutique. Bloom drum breaks. Let's see. This is a really cool drum loop library. I think it has something like 260 some presets. It's got a really unique interface, interesting concept for how it works. You can program and tweak your own or just call up their presets and play. So let's do this. Let's call up a bass patch to start with. So we'll go BPM bass in the library, and then we'll like add some drum grooves to it. So I'm going to hit mute so I don't hear this to start. And let's go over here and empty layer and say bloom drum breaks. And here we go. Now, they have a key play interface, as you can see down here, where they also have keys below it for right? For all these different types of groups and genres and all sorts of stuff. So on top of this, as you can see in the interface, you got digital. You also have controls here for high cut, noise, and then you have fuzzy dice. And you know, we love fuzzy dice. We have them in UNIFY. And this is cool because it replaces all the samples with pieces from the whole library. So you call up one of these presets, which kind of gives it a template. And then hit the fuzzy dice, and it replaced that vibe with from the billions of samples in here. Yeah, just press random. So okay. Yeah, that's random. Clean. And just to show you how it works. Now, because it's based on playing keys, when I use this in UNIFY, I find that I like to go over here and I set it to like mono latch, turn on mono latch, play it, and then hit the MIDI light so it turns off this note. So it's playing the groove, but it's not listening to MIDI anymore. So I could go down here, I could add my own drums from his. So off you go with all sorts of fun stuff. So for a $39 drum library, it's pretty cool. It has some really unique abilities to it because, and it has, you know, it's not like the same old sounds that you've heard before. They sound like the sounds you've heard before in some respects. But it's not. It's really cool source, really cool stuff. And they also have an editor. If you want to hit here, you can go into where you're controlling what's doing. I'm not even going to play with this, but you can have 8 banks of your own samples. It gets very deep, actually, if you get into editing it on that level. You can choose what key you're in. I'm not sure where that plays into the whole concept of things, but Bloom Breaks. Video link is in the video description if you want to check it out. I thought this was really cool. I reached out and said, hey, I want to check out this out, see how it works in UNIFY, make sure that it works good, and it does. Just be aware that it's a type of a drum thing that is looking at you to play a note. So it means if I want to just play C sharp, you know, if I play other notes, it's going to mess it up. And it changes my bass part at the same time. So it's really made for in a DAW where you'd have it on its own track, sequence it, and then go to another track and like add stuff to it. But if you do want to use it in UNIFY, by changing this to the latch mono mode, turning this on, playing a note, and then turning off the MIDI listening. So it's no longer listening to MIDI on that note, so it just latches and plays forever. This is also a really cool way to use drones. Let's go to the library like, let's go to Magic Motion. Let's like find some really cool big pad. I could go over here and I could say, load this as a new UNIFY layer. Now it's going to stop MIDI when I first set this up. So you got to turn this back on. Now I could turn this on. Let's do them one at a time. So we're going to hit mute on this one. And we're going to play a note, get a drum groove going, turn off this one. Now we can go down to the bass pad and turn on latch mode and play a note and say, that's not the pad I was thinking of. Oh, maybe I gotta set the timing mode here. Let's say manual stop. There we go. So let's see if we turn on latch. Now I can turn off MIDI to that. So you can get multiple latches working, and latch mode actually you can turn off that way or here, but there's all sorts of different ways to use it, but just so you know how to use that. Let's see. The last thing to show you is from SampleSun. They have, actually there's two more things to show you. There's one more thing to show you after this. That's really out there, but very cool. This is Drumbada, I believe it's called. And these are like South American percussion, which is kind of unexpected. And it doesn't work as it works, but it's a little rough on the edges. So if you say Drumbada, here is the library. And it has a unique interface where if you drag your mouse, click your mouse, it changes to different patterns. It'd be really interesting to look on the macro knobs and see. We go over here and we say plus. Let's look at the instrument. This is what I do with every new plugin, is look at it and see what parameters it has. Speed, 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 pan, pan, speed, speed, accent, gain, bypass. Main mouse drag. So this must be the parameter for yes. So, a couple things. The sustain pedal does not make it loop. It stops. So we can fix that. If you have any plugins that ever don't listen to sustain pedal, a lot of synthesizer plugins, when you use their arpeggiators, they stop listening to MIDI sustain pedal. So we can go over here to utilities, to MIDI filter, and sustain pedal, let's say emulate. That means we're emulating it by having a note on that stays on. So now it plays. I don't know why they don't check for such things as this, but anyway, if you go to the presets, you have the factory bank. It's a lot of work to set up and select the presets. It's not very easy, and once you select a preset, it goes away. It's like, wait, where'd you go? And to get another preset, you have to go through this process of clicking there again. There's no easy way to like advance from I don't know who makes these user interfaces, but they don't spend hours playing patches and going through presets because this interface is not user friendly. Also be aware it sets the tempo to whatever tempo it wants to be at for each patch. If you want it to be synced to your DAW, you have to click and drag over here to where it's set to sync. And then you need to look over here on the edit page because these guys like to use all sorts of timing things. A number of them are using tuplets and duplicate timings and so forth. This should work now where if I was to go over here to tighten, let's call up a drum groove from here. So let's call up a T groove. Let's call up laundry. Mix right. Right? So this works. Then you go to the next preset, and when you call it up, it's no longer in sync mode. It's now back to in whatever tempo mode it's supposed to. So it doesn't work. So you have to click and drag to put it back to sync mode. So these are things I can fix. Anything I point out like this is software related. So software can be updated. We all know that as Shane has spent 4 years adding all sorts of cool things to UNIFY, software can be updated. So hopefully they'll look at some of these things to make it easier. It has an autoplay. So you could set it like this if you want. Turn off the notes so it doesn't listen to the notes anymore. And then I can build around it. So if you need South American percussion, ensemble style, this is a way to look and go. So again, it's no longer set to sync, so you have to, each patch is saved. I don't know why they don't have people that test it out and let them know ahead of time. Hey, you know, I guess maybe because most people use these in a DAW where you just call it up and you leave it and it just sits there, you know. And yes, it uses iLok, I believe. So when it's a library, didn't it used to go to the library automatically? I'd like to see more unified percussion libraries for sure. Yeah, that's something on the list. We're working on an update to release of UNIFY later this year. It will be a paid update, our first paid update in 4 years. And one of the things coming is separate audio outputs for each of the layers and so forth. So when that happens, I actually have a ton of drums and percussion type stuff to release that I've been working on, but I've waited until we get that update out. So, you know, drums can only go so far in stereo. You want to be able to take the kick and send it to different outputs and all that kind of stuff. So, and then the last thing to show you guys, on the Facebook UNIFY Power Users Group, let me show you, for those of you that don't know, we have our own UNIFY page. We also have an Instagram page that a friend of ours in the Kendall Cochran set up. Oh gosh. I apologize for the spam that shows up on the UNIFY page. It's so frustrating. I delete it all the time. I come back and there's something new here. But anyway, on this page, it needs to be updated to have a Titan on the top of it. But Andreas pointed out this really cool company has released a series of free plugins. And the Spectral Compressor is insane. Yeah, Daniel, if you don't want to buy something, you don't have to tell us about things you don't like all the time. Please, 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 please. If you don't like iLok, don't buy it, but you don't have to tell us you don't like iLok. It's not polite to do that in a public place. So please don't do that. Please. Please. Thank you. These are free plugins. Now there's some steps to this. There's gatekeeping that Apple Computers has. Hey, Secret, good to see you, man. Let me show you the link to these. I didn't even put these into the chat here. Let's see. Spectral Compressor. It's on this page. View tide bars. Never show. Okay, so over here on this page, let me put this into the chat description. Let's see, have this go away. I'm on the wrong page here. I'll put it into the video description now, but I'll also put it here. This gets into some really crazy territory. Looking forward to UNIFY 2.0. Hopefully we can still... Of course, you can use your own libraries in it. Yeah, no, we wouldn't not do that. Let's see, new plugins we're showing. So let's say free plugin. There's actually quite a few here in this. So Spectral, Compressor, and more. And more here. And let's say that. So in the video description, I show you this as well. This is what Spectral Compressor looks like. The thing that's unique with Spectral Compressor is it's breaking it down into separate bands. And that's really special in that normal when you're like compressing and so forth, it's doing all frequencies and there's interpolation between the frequencies that happens because it can't handle everything that's going on. Here, since it's broken down to such intricate bands, there's no interpolation between the other frequencies. And so it makes some really unique sounds. Now, to download this, there's talking about the gatekeeper. You can go to the nightly hubs. So actually the link I should give you is probably this right here. Just click where it says the nightly builds right here. And this will take you to this page where you have the Windows or the Mac OS installing. These have not been notarized. So again, you might need on the Mac or the PC. There's Shane actually has information on the Facebook PC page. Dune 3 full free. Is Dune 3 free? I don't think so. No, Dune is not free. It's $1.99. So Dune 2, the movie, it looks really cool, and that's not free either. But anyway, so these are found under the, see, if we go like to this, let's play with this just for fun. So we say Spectral Compressor. It's Robert van der Helm is the name that you look by after you've installed these into UNIFY. And here it is. And so what it has that's unique, let's see, turn it down just a little bit. You have the standard threshold. You have both downwards and upwards compression. So we can, you can do this. The curve. Here's your attack. Your release. They do have window sizing, which is cool. As you go up, you're bringing up more of the elements that it's breaking the sound into so that it's interpolating separately. You can slope it. So it's just the high end or the low end. And then there's a curve. So you can break it down to really small frequency content. And listen how smooth that is. That's 50 dB. Because it's broken down into separate components. So it's a really cool compressor in that it works in some really can roll off the high just a little bit. Or use this to roll off the low end a little bit. I tend to get a little bit bass heavy. So it's a really cool technique for me to like. And then it gets into like really weird la la land, because instead of the mode being pink noise, you can say the side chain. And to do that, we'd have to go into probably a combo box setting. And I'm not going to do that right now, but watch this. There's this video that I'll put in the video description here really quick. Let's see, go history. Right here. This video by AU5. If you don't know who AU5 is, he's a talented, gifted sound musician, sound designer, stuff like that. Hey, Mark, don't ask her, please. Let's not talk about iLok. Don't talk about iLok. Anybody, please. Don't ask her, because it will get into a big debate why she refuses to use it. And so just please, let's don't go there. You know, if you don't want to use it, don't use it. But you don't need to make it so it makes other people think there's something wrong with it, because there's nothing wrong with it. I have an iLok with 300 licenses on it, and it's great. So let's just don't put gasoline on that fire, because that's not helpful for our live stream experience, right? So if we go over here to see, Spectral was Robert. So ROBB. These other plugins are included with this installer that you get for free. So there's some of these don't work, like Buffer Glitch doesn't really work. Crossover doesn't really work. Crisp is super cool. Combo Box. Yeah, we can dive into Combo Box. So this is Crisper. And it's really great on like just a kick drum by itself. Like if I was to say in this groove, so there's a UNIFY layer here going on, and I have the kicks separated out. So I could go over here and I could say Crisper. Just a little bit. There's crispy and there's soggy. Again, no more talking about iLok. Daniela's replied, so let's leave it right there, okay? So it just allows you to add a really cool bit of white noise. Frequency-wise, you can control it, make it mono and so forth. And just a little bit of noise can help things come out in the mix a little bit, which is nice. Other things in this list that were really fun. Loudness. This is a joke. Loudness War winner. It's a joke. It doesn't overdrive it over 0 dB, but crazy. Love it. I love it so much. I don't even know what it's picking up on. Puberty Simulator is interesting. Dopser is super cool. So this is one where you can choose filter stages. Let's see, what else could I do with this? There's some other stuff. If you put just on, let's say just the drums. Let's say just the drum groove. And we still got them playing along with us. Let's say DIOP Dopser. Hear what it's doing? It's kind of like a ring modulator. I had it doing some cooler stuff before, but if you play with it, you know, I thought it was kind of interesting. Let's see, what else is there? Was there anything? OBB. Spectral compressor, soft the safety limiters, just simple. Soft vacuum. It's kind of like an overall tonal shaper with oversampling. So you can have it just warm up and add a little bit of mix. Here's without it. So it can make things to stick out just a little bit in the mix in a nice way. But the winner, watch this video that I linked. Scream and test of its interactivity. Yeah. Let's see here. Anyway, Mrs. Khan to be a Hero Club DJ till dawn. Yeah, I missed my calling. I provide the source for people to do that. How's that? So and then Triton Reunion is one where I kind of got carried away with splits and stuff. So and the artwork is of all of the Titans at night going out in Athens back in the day. Yeah, so anyway, cool libraries, cool stuff. If you have questions, let me know in the stream. That was everything we wanted to cover today. Yeah, good times. Are the MIDI files made in Logic? Yes, I made the MIDI files in Logic. Oh, one last thing to show you guys. If you own the Heartstrings library, which went off its sale just yesterday, and you also own UniFlow, which also went off its introductory sale prices yesterday, but it's still great values for the libraries and what comes within them. There's the Heartstring, the UniHeart bonus is what I'm calling it, which is a series of 10 patches. Using patches from both UniFlow and Heartstrings together, and some really lovely stuff. So you need to own both libraries and UNIFY. Right? All sorts of different stuff. So there's dancing for you for splits. Oh, this is a cool one. This has fits in it. And I did get the bonus patches that other people submitted. I'm going to go through them. I might be adding some more to this. I just was so busy with the library, I didn't have time to look at them until it was too late to include with this bonus that I want to get out before the sale ended. So I apologize for asking for them and not using them. Pirates Picnic. There's Infinity guitar pad. Let it grow, let it bloom. Did I put a link into the video description? I can't remember if I did. Yes, it's in the video description, the link to this library. Forest of Life. Really pretty. Living Rainbow. There's these violins and heartstrings. They're just lovely. And then I believe we made these in a live stream. Pulsing from the Heart is the same with right? So all sorts of different things. 10 bonus patches that use both of the libraries together. Really fun. Live stream next week. We'll probably have a live stream next week. I'm gonna be selling stuff in my house and so forth. But the studio, I'm gonna keep a lot of this stuff here, but you know, other things will be packed up and out of the room. But yeah, there will be one more live stream at least. How to find the right spot for where to end a reverb in a well, Ivor, a lot of that is important for like one of the things I like with UNIFY is that it's easy, or you know, you can do it in a DAW too, but using high pass filters to control the reverb's frequencies. So a lot of the stuff inside of even Titan for the drums, I set up. If you go here to the drum grooves, see here. There's filter maxes on both the delay and the reverb. So if you bring up the reverb, see how it doesn't get in the way? That's because there's a high pass filter. Without this, it's just a mess. With it, I'm controlling the frequencies, so I don't want the kick drum to go into the reverb, so I can use a high pass filter to block those low frequencies. That way I get the reverb just to be more sparkle and stuff in the higher frequency. So it sounds more natural. That's one way to control how reverb works inside of a big production and stuff like that. Thank you, vendor. Are you guys going to give the bonus library link again? Yes, it's in the video description. So you just go there and it's there for you to download. Yeah, there's other ways to do it too, where a lot of times I'd like to put a pump house on the reverb to shape it so that it's like, say I want it to just be for the snare. So if we put something like this and let's make like just have it be on the downbeats of a half to start with. Let's go like this. So we're shaping it to like be blam, really loud for a minute, and then fade out. So now, let's say half beat. Oh wait, we're gonna go the other way, half bar. Let's see, let's get this. So you can use this to shape that reverb to just be an element in the groove. Let's put a compressor on this to give it some shape. So we can go dynamics, go to enforcer, bring down the threshold and bring up this, and better. You can also, because this is sample accurate, you can do all sorts of cool tricks like this. To shape it to be how you want it to be. But there's all sorts of different ways to control reverb so that it's not just a wash, if you want to go stuff. Johnny, thanks. You're welcome. No, no, it's going to be stuff in my house, like, you know, bookcases and things like that. Studio stuff goes into storage. I have a storage facility for keeping all my gear. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up for the live stream. If you have any other questions, wide boost sounds are cool plugin for reverb. Yeah. Well, I'll check that out. I haven't seen that. So thank you, Making Music. Christopher, if you like, which one is the video description for the bonus library? If you come down here, new bonus library for owners of Heartstrings and UniFlow Volume 1, there's a link right there. So it's close to the top. Then the new plugins in the live stream, we showed Drumbada, which is South American percussion. We showed Bloom drum breaks, which is drum loops and grooves for $39 right now. And Simplicity's Classic Reverb with the links. And then the free plugins are from the Robert Von VDH website. Again, it might take a little extra work on your part to fix Gatekeeper or PC installation issues. It's not an installer that's, you know, been set up and notarized for modern computers, it seems. I'm not sure if you can do that or not, but anyway, yeah. So let's do our shout outs. Bookcase synth. No, not a bookcase synth, just a bookcase. Shout out from Portland, where it's finally stopped raining. It's just gray today. It's been raining for like, gosh, it seems like 10 days straight. Shout out from Stockholm, Norway. Sorry to ask for teasers this early, but when so the Bob Detta's library is scheduled for the second half of March. It's going to be really cool. I can't show it yet, but it's amazing. If you liked ambient dreams, this is going to make your brain kind of go numb. I guarantee you. Colorado, look at that. Germany. I love that we're everywhere in the world all at once, guys. It's just cool to hang with all of you. It's a pleasure and an honor to get to talk to all of you. Fly over Florida, fly over. Oh, Paris, Christopher, you're in Paris. Nice. Selenita is in London. Hello, London. France. Yves, as usual, in France. Well, thank you all for joining. It's great to see all of you. Great to see some new faces show up. So enjoy the library. Titan 303 is out. And again, it's on its introductory. It's because 303 is tomorrow, I decided to kind of do it where it was released today. And it's at a very special price of $23.03 for 3 days. And then it will jump to its, oh wait, I clicked too soon or too late. Then it will be on its introductory price of $30.30 after Monday. So you can save a decent chunk of change if you jump, but you got to jump really quick. So to you that have jumped, thank you. The UNIFY music. I love that. I love that. That's great. Texas. Good to see you all. Well, thank you. Happy to meet you on Super Booth. Yeah, I'm coming to Super Booth in May of this year. So if you're going to be at Super Booth, all of you in Europe, come to Super Booth and we can hang out. Go have a beer somewhere and talk about synthesizer parameters and stuff like that. Hit the like button if you like. Thank you for joining. We will see you next week. And thank you for all your support as always. We appreciate each one of you. So hands together, head bowed. Thank you. We'll see you all soon.